Denny Hamlin, the NASCAR veteran with 54 career wins, finds himself in a precarious position as the 2024 Cup Series playoffs unfold. The Joe Gibbs Racing Drivers' Championship hopes are hanging by a thread after a disastrous performance at Watkins Glen International. Hamlin's struggles have pushed him 6 points below the cut line, putting immense pressure on him to perform at the upcoming Bristol Motor Speedway race. The Watkins Glen race was a true nightmare for Hamlin. His troubles began even before the green flag dropped, with a poor qualifying performance landing him in 22nd position. This subpar starting spot proved costly as Hamlin found himself caught in the midst of chaos on the very first lap of the 90-lap race. As the field thundered into the infamous bus stop section, a multi-car wreck occurred involving Ryan Blaney, Corey LaJoie, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Hamlin's number 11 Toyota suffered significant damage to its right front tire cover, setting the tone for what would be a long and frustrating day. Hamlin expressed his disappointment immediately after the opening lap incident, saying, "It sucks because I knew the damage was bad. I was really looking forward to this race, believe it or not, because we made some really good adjustments overnight to help with where I felt like we were going to be a little bit off. I wanted to just race and see what my car had, just never had a chance." Despite the early setback, Hamlin's crew worked tirelessly to keep him in the race. Chris Gabehart, crew chief of the number 11th team, had a synchronized plan in place. During an extended caution, the team had 7 minutes to work on the car on pit road, make minimum speed, and get off the damaged vehicle policy clock. They successfully accomplished this goal, showcasing the team's efficiency under pressure. Gabehart later commented on the situation, saying, "You're a whisker from finishing dead last, not getting off of DVP. Once my team, who I'm so proud of, Brandon Griffith, my car chief, all the mechanics, the pit crew, it takes everyone being coordinated to work your way out of a hole like that in just 7 minutes. I can't say enough how proud I am for even giving us a shot." Hamlin lost a lap, but was the free pass recipient at the end of the opening stage. With a variety of strategies playing out, he even managed to score a stage point in Stage 2, showing signs of a potential comeback. However, disaster struck again on lap 46 when Hamlin found himself in a 3-wide battle with Brad Keselowski and Kyle Larson through the treacherous S's section. The tight racing led to contact, sending Hamlin spinning into the outside wall. The impact caused further damage to his already battered car, effectively ending any hope of a strong finish. Explaining the incident, Hamlin said, "We were 3 wide, and Keselowski, I thought, could have let off there because we were so far ahead. He kept it 3 wide, and I wrecked." Despite the setbacks, Hamlin and his team refused to give up. He received another free pass in the waning laps and avoided chaos in a rash of late cautions. Ultimately, Hamlin limped home to a disappointing 23rd place finish, ahead of 5 other playoff drivers but far from where he needed to be. After the race, Hamlin didn't mince words. When addressing his performance, he said, "Certainly, I take responsibility for what I did on Saturday, which was not qualifying well. That's on me. Certainly that put us right in the middle of where wrecks usually happen, and we got shoved into it."
Certainly, I got to take responsibility for what I did on Saturday, which is not qualifying well, right? And so that's on me, and certainly that put us right in the middle of where wrecks usually happen, and we got shoved into it.
But it wasn't just his on-track performance that Hamlin criticized. In a surprising turn, he shifted some blame to NASCAR's playoff structure and track selection. Hamlin stated, "No, not really, but we haven't had tracks like this in the playoffs for the most part. Usually we got road courses and super speedways in a lot of them, but you don't have this many in the playoffs as what we have this year. It's just making for a lot of attrition and some good cars below the cut line that are likely to get eliminated."
No, not really, but we haven't really had tracks like this in the playoffs for the most part. Usually, you've got road courses and super speedways and a lot of them, but you don't have as many in the playoffs as what we have this year, so it's making for a lot of attrition, and certainly some good cars there below the cut line that likely will get eliminated.
This statement from Hamlin raises questions about the fairness and effectiveness of NASCAR's current playoff format. The variety of tracks in the playoffs has indeed led to unpredictable results, with several top drivers finding themselves in danger of elimination. Hamlin's playoff woes actually began before the postseason even started, ahead of the penultimate race of the regular season Toyota Racing Development TRD, engine builder for all the Toyota teams, self-reported to NASCAR that it had accidentally disassembled Hamlin's Bristol-winning engine. The rulebook requires all race-winning engines to be torn down by NASCAR as an extra inspection. However, to encourage cost-saving, engines are reused, so they are only inspected at the end of their life cycle and tuned by TRD prior to reuse. TRD acknowledged that the oversight was entirely their fault, saying that they accidentally treated the engine as a non-race winner since it was brought back in a later car that did not win. Regardless, since NASCAR was unable to tear down the engine, Hamlin's team was assessed an L2 penalty, though they were given the lowest penalty possible in the rulebook, a deduction of 75 regular season points and 10 playoff points, and the impact of this penalty cannot be overstated. While the playoffs points are the only ones that directly carry into the postseason and impact Hamlin's current points predicament, the loss of regular season points impacted Hamlin's finishing position in the regular season standings. Drivers in the top 10 at the end of the regular season get progressively fewer playoff points as a reward, further affecting Hamlin's position. As a result, despite the playoff points from 3 race wins, which give a 5 playoff point bonus, 6 stage wins, which give a single playoff point bonus, and a 6th place finish in the regular season standings, Hamlin only entered the playoffs at Atlanta with a 10-point advantage to the cut line after the deduction for his penalty. This small advantage to the cut line meant that the first round was no longer as easy to advance through as it otherwise would have been. However, Hamlin's team didn't seem to accommodate for that. At Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hamlin finished 24th with no stage points to bolster his position. Surprisingly, Hamlin wasn't overly concerned at the time, saying his team had set out with the goal of just getting 20 points from the race, a nonchalant attitude despite slipping in the points. Now, with his back against the wall, Hamlin turns his attention to Bristol Motor Speedway. The half-mile track known as the Last Great Coliseum could be Hamlin's saving grace. He has won the last 2 Cup Series races at Bristol, leading a combined 305 of 1,000 laps in those events. In the 3 next-gen era races at Bristol, Hamlin has always qualified well and finished strongly. He started P4, P2, and P3 from 2022 to 2024, with finishes of P9, P1, and P1 respectively. This track record gives Hamlin and his team confidence heading into this crucial race. Hamlin's confidence remains high despite his recent setbacks. He declared, "I feel like we can go there and win. We are going to an oval, back to a normal track. We can control our own destiny there."
We'll be fine. I have no doubts that we're going to be good and up front and control our own destiny.
When asked if he could think of the last time they didn't have a race-winning car at Bristol, Hamlin confidently replied, "No."
Destiny.
Have you ever been through a stretch like this in your career, Denny, especially in the playoffs?
No, not really, but we haven't really had tracks like this in the playoffs for the most part. Usually...
His crew chief, Chris Gabehart, shares this optimism. Gabehart stated, 6 out ain't going to be enough to hold the 11 back at Bristol. The but is we've got to have the asteroids to quit falling on top of the 11 car. Our performance is matched by very, very few. We just aren't on the lucky side of things right now. Gabehart added, "This week we made our luck by qualifying poorly. No one is perfect, and this team showed that it's championship caliber today. I can promise you nobody is going to beat you on performance at Bristol. 6 ain't enough. Now, does it go our way? We'll see, but 6 isn't enough to beat us on performance." The importance of the Bristol race cannot be overstated. In NASCAR's playoff format, the 4 drivers below the cut line after this race will be eliminated from championship contention. Hamlin currently sits 6 points below that crucial threshold, tied with Chase Briscoe and Ty Gibbs. To advance, Hamlin will need to either win the race outright or score enough points to overtake his competitors. Stage points will be crucial, as will his final finishing position. When asked about advancing on points alone, Hamlin quipped, "Yeah, if you run in the top 2 or 3 all day, absolutely." The pressure on Hamlin is immense. Despite his 54 career wins, a championship has eluded him throughout his career. At 43 years old, time is not on his side, and each missed opportunity brings him closer to joining the list of great drivers who never captured NASCAR's ultimate prize. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to NASCAR Insider and share your insights in the comments below.